Hello and welcome back to Be Kind Rewinder. It's somehow already been a month since our last episode, and nothing has happened. No notable news, no big events in the gaming space. It's been all quiet on the Western frontier in video game land. I'm your host Lex Luddy, joined as always by Henry Stockdale and Scott McRae. In this episode, we will be discussing Bluepoint getting shut down, Xbox getting blinxed out of existence, and what we've been playing. So do you have anything you want to talk about before we dive into the two big news stories? This isn't a news podcast anymore, but we felt like we kind of had to talk about these two.
I feel like we do the what we've been playing first, because really that's more important than any news could be.
Yes, but also I feel like the news is going to be a bummer, and I don't want to end on that. So,
it's a fair point.
But yeah. So let's just jump straight into the news if we're going to do that. Because I think we could do with cheering up at the end. And talking about what games we're playing. So the big breaking news this Friday, we're recording this on Monday. It's going to go up a bit later for embargo reasons. But Phil Spencer was announced that he is leaving Xbox. He is retiring. Sarah Bond is resigning. Matt Booty is being promoted. Some fucking how. And the new head of Xbox is Asa Sharma, who is formerly the president of Microsoft's Core AI product division. She has been named the new executive vice president and CEO of Microsoft Gaming, while Matt Booty is now promoted to executive vice president and chief content officer. So a lot to break down here. A lot of stuff has been going on in the meantime. Gut reactions to this, seeing it on Friday. This was one of those late breaking on Fridays. This was a 5 p.m. Friday evening news story, which is always a sign that it is planned and being done very professionally. Scott, how did you feel about this story when you first heard about it?
I thought this was a report from Bloomberg that this broke from. I don't think they announced it first.
So it was a IGN exclusive. And within minutes...
IGN, not Bloomberg.
Yeah, within minutes, Microsoft put out their own stories. That comes into this later from some reporting from Tom Warren. Apparently, Microsoft got wind that IGN was about to break the story, so they hurriedly put this all together for Friday night instead of Monday morning, when it was originally supposed to go live. So this all seems very rushed and haggard in some ways.
I mean, the first the first thing that stuck out to me was real weird that there were immediately statements from Phil Spencer, Matt Booty, Mr. AI, whatever his name is,
Satya Nadella.
Yeah, but none from Sarah Bond, who also had put out LinkedIn posts about work stuff 3 hours earlier.
Yep.
Felt very.
That also comes up in the Tom Warren reporting. But we'll get to that.
It feels very something happened here, in a way that I'm not entirely interested. I don't think that's the best word to say, but something seems fucky. I mean,
so to put it into perspective,
was not perfect, and there were some major mistakes in his tenure. He's maybe the Herman Hulst of Xbox in many ways, in the sense that Jim Ryan was definitely a Don Matrick. which I guess we'll get to later. But
Yes, in some ways, Phil Spencer was handed a bag of goods that was already pretty toxic.
I think he always seemed like he seemed to care more than the normal Xbox exec, and I do like Phil Spencer in ways, but some of those decisions, which I don't entirely know were up to him, were total dog shit. So again, it felt inevitable that he would eventually leave. What also felt inevitable is that Sarah Bond would succeed him when that time came.
Yeah, and that's
Who,
probably the stuff that's worth talking about is,
yeah,
from everything I heard, Sarah was the guy. Sarah was the person who Phil had positioned as his successor. And so the decision to not have her take over Xbox was a active decision. And I think that you see in how hurried the fact that she was putting out LinkedIn statements 3 hours before this, or LinkedIn posts, her social media team were, kind of speaks to that. The Tom Warren reporting is very interesting to read through now, because he kind of put together a thing kind of explaining that, like, a lot of the this is an Xbox and cloud gaming and Xbox everywhere stuff was what Sarah Bond had been putting her career on. And on top of that, he also mentions that there was word of her being difficult to work with. I to a
that's
certain
convenient
extent,
though.
I can understand some of this. She probably internally was a very strong proponent of this message of the this is an Xbox thing. I think that when I think about who Tom Warren's sources usually are, they're quite high up. And there's a whole elephant in the room that you have to address when you talk about one of the few black C-suite executives in the gaming spaces, who's also a woman, being labeled as problematic or difficult by management.
Yeah.
Which, as history goes, is not an uncommon tactic. I also know firsthand that there are things that could be used to potentially brush aside Sarah Bond personal reasons that a executive could use as a reason not to have her take over something like Xbox. Reasons that I don't think would factor in, but I could totally see Satya Nadella or someone seeing as a factor. I'm not going to talk about what those reasons are because they're personal matters, and I don't think that it actually matters. But I think there's still a lot of smoke, and we're only seeing one of the fires right now. We're seeing the fires specifically from what Tom Warren has heard. And in the last couple of hours, there's been a very stark, like, oh, like, Sarah Bond's the fall guy for this because she made these bad calls. A lot of executives make bad calls and they keep their
The
jobs.
whole this is an
Um,
Xbox thing just felt like the natural extension of what Xbox has been doing for the last like fucking 10 years, where
yeah.
like they don't give a fuck about consoles.
I mean, like, ultimately,
Really,
what
like
other move could they have made when
yeah,
they were that
they
far
want Game
behind?
Pass on everything.
Yeah.
That is it. They want Game Pass on PlayStation. They want it on Nintendo. That's the end game.
And,
They don't
like,
give
they
a
worked
fuck
for
about.
Microsoft, which at the time was like, yeah, we're a subscriptions company now. We're a services company now. So, of course, the Xbox management were like, well, I guess we have to figure out a way to be a service company now. Game Pass. Um, so I think that, like, there's a lot of reading between the lines that you have to do here.
Were
Um,
you at the Xbox showcase at Summer Game Fest? I
I
think last
wasn't.
year, or
I
the year
heard things
before.
about that.
So before that aired, they had like all the press and like a kind of theater. It wasn't like a live show or anything like that. It was like a Nintendo Direct type thing. And Spencer, Booty, and Bond all came out because like literally the month before or something like that was when they sacked all those people, shut Tango GameWorks,
Yeah.
all that stuff. In those statements, and I remember thinking this at the time, the only one who seemed quite genuine or less. She probably wasn't. It's probably a really good job, you know. But like Sarah Bond came across as the most genuine out of the three when talking about this, because obviously it was an awkward like, hey, we're going to show you everything we're doing. Here's all this Gears of War shit. But by the way, we sacked people like 3 months ago, and we're not going to acknowledge that on the stream. But she seemed genuinely quite. I don't know. She got like quite emotional and all that, and it was quite funny. So again, as much I like Sarah Bond as much as you can like any C-suite executive type. You know, like obviously there's always going to be a level of distrust among all of those. But yeah, the messaging of I don't know if other people feel the same way. That's what I was kind of getting at with Sarah Bond. But the messaging of let's get rid of our possibly most likable and chosen successor has suddenly left, and an
Has
AI, yeah,
you know?
an
Like,
AI bro has taken over. You know, it's like,
so before we move on to Asa Sharma, who we should probably also talk about because she's been in the headlines this weekend, Henry, I want to get a bit of kind of your read on the situation and your original gut reaction.
My gut reaction, well, when I saw that Phil Spencer had left, I'm not going to say like I saw it coming, because I mean I had a feeling he would eventually step. I mean, of course, he had to eventually step down, of course, but like not in this manner. I Since he started having all the layoffs, the studio closures, I did think, okay, maybe his position isn't quite so secure, but to see Sarah Bond suddenly leave with him, that was the big surprise to me. Yeah, because like you said, we all thought that she would be the successor, and well, yeah. I mean, if I was in that position, I got passed up, I probably would have resigned too.
Yeah.
Realistically, it
Um.
feels like a slap in the face.
So before actually, we'll jump over to Asa Sharma now. Asha's people are kind of like speculating on, you know, who she is and where she's come from. She is head, or she had been head of Core AI, which is one of Xbox's large AI departments. She is very open about not being a gamer. And it seems that she created a Xbox account about a month ago. And now some internet sleuths are speculating that they are populating playtime and trophies on that account. Because some of the trophy or some of the achievements really don't make sense for the playtime that she has in the games. Like some very late game Minecraft trophy achievements. I keep on saying trophies. Sorry, I just play too much PlayStation. But some very late game Minecraft achievements were popped, and like she has like 14 or 40 hours on that, and like people are like, oh, you could not get that in that time. So this is something that they're aware of. Is she is not a gamer, and a ongoing conversation over the weekend was, do you need to be a gamer to be in charge of one of these companies? Um, I think the go-to example of no is Reggie Fils-Aimé. But I think the big difference with Reggie
well,
Fils-Aimé, who
Reggie played games though.
he played games when he started working at Nintendo. He didn't play them before that. He talks about that.
Was he not like a big
No,
Link to the Past guy?
no, he
Pointing at
worked
someone
he
else.
worked at Guinness and he worked at Reebok and he was a businessman.
He worked at Pizza Hut. He created the Bigfoot pizza.
Yes,
Let's
yes.
keep the real shit in there.
The real headline. But I think that one, Reggie was a big personality guy. He was
Yeah.
a guy who was brought in to be a spokesperson as much as anything else, and he was the head of Nintendo of America, not Nintendo. And at the time, Nintendo of America was kind of just the English language mouthpiece for Nintendo. So what they needed was a spokesman, and he did that very well. The other example is people like Strauss Zelnick and Bobby Kotick. Bobby Kotick, obviously, you know, Strauss Zelnick, you could say, has had great success, but also that success has been extremely commercialized. It's not like he is
Who the fuck
used
is Strauss Zelnick again? Oh,
head of
take two.
2K.
Never mind.
Yeah,
I
take two.
just remembered, like,
Yeah.
as I said that. Who the fuck was?
And
I
so, yeah, my question to the two of you is: are ye concerned about the background of a AI first person taking over Xbox?
I don't give a shit that she's not a gamer.
Yeah.
The AI stuff obviously is cringe, but like, I don't. I do and I don't think it matters. I mean, obviously, like when you look at kind of the best heads of company, is like Satoru Iwata and stuff like that, who was, you know, like he made games for like 20 years before he became part of the business side of Nintendo, you know, and just stuff like that. But at the same time, it's not really a requirement. I don't think. I think an understanding of the games industry is required, obviously. But if they don't, but then again, the stuff with the populated Xbox playtime and stuff like that is where I start to get a bit like.
It seems like they are, like, it's not notable that she's not a gamer. You can totally not be a gamer and run a company. It's noticeable that they're like, oh, we have to fake this, you
Well,
know?
yeah, because they've got interviews.
And now
where it's
she's
like,
out there on Twitter replying to like 7 follower accounts being like, I like Valheim or whatever. And it's like, oh,
yeah,
man, this isn't a good look.
just random, like, they feel almost workshopped responses. I don't know if they are, but
I
like,
mean,
one of the first
they
interviews for
probably are
name
just
dropping
Copilot.
Firewatch, it's like, yeah, well, I mean, there was some scal over the weekend that perhaps there are AI responses on that Twitter account, especially when I saw a Twitter account replying, or her Twitter account replying to someone being like, an Indian woman is taking over Xbox, this is the end, you know? So, like, you know, the type of shit you wouldn't be replying to normally.
If you were a human, yes.
Yeah, so I saw some stuff like that, which is obviously also a bit concerning. But yeah,
and also, like, I'm not sure if you read Satya Nadella's statement. Have you read the opening line of that?
Yeah, he did not write that.
There's no way a human wrote that, and I know that people are like, oh, you're just gonna label anything you don't like as AI. Let me just read this out. Scott, you tell me, as someone who has to read a lot of things, and sometimes as an editor has to be able to tell if something is AI or not, and like drill down on that. Let me know if this sentence sounds AI generated. Gaming has been a part of Microsoft from the start. Flight Simulator shipped before Windows. You can practically ray trace a line from DirectX in the 90s to the accelerated compute era we're in today.
that's a like childhood room poster, like gamer aboard, do not enter type statement.
The really notable part of this part of his statement is that the word 90s is written apostrophe 90 apostrophe S.
That's the way you do it.
That hurts. That hurts.
I'm gonna tap for like 2 seconds.
Yeah, which is exactly how a robot does that.
I'll be honest, I wasn't so sure if it was AI or rather just a really rushed statement, but I would not be surprised if it's a mix of both.
Yeah, the guy who says that he uses agentic assistance for basically everything in his life now, I would not be surprised if he used that to write his boilerplate statement.
Yeah, by his own admission, yeah.
Yeah. And late breaking story here from Dean Takahashi, who has interviewed Seamus Blackley. Henry, I'm going to read you this quote. Tell me what you think of it.
Okay.
Seamus Blackley, who, if you're not aware, is known as the father of the Xbox. He's the guy who kind of designed the original hardware back in the early 2000s. Xbox, like a lot of businesses that aren't core AI business, is being sunsetted. They don't say that, but that's what's happening. I expect that the new CEO, Asa Sharma, her job is going to be as a palliative care doctor who slides Xbox gently into the night.
Because did they use Did they call it Microsoft Gaming beforehand?
Yes,
Or
so
is that
that is a
new?
recent change of about 2 years ago. Phil Spencer went
Right.
from the head of Xbox to the head of gaming at Microsoft.
Okay, because
Um,
everyone just kept calling him the head of Xbox still, so I wasn't
yeah.
sure on that
Um,
one. Okay, fair enough. I I don't know. I think it's too early to tell for certain. It's not the greatest sign, but for
Well,
all
like,
we know,
what do you do at this point? Because what's killing Xbox? It's hey, none of our games have value, and it's hey, we have no exclusives. But those aren't things you can really run back.
yeah, that the other so I suppose my question for you is, do you think that they're out here saying like, oh yeah, the next console is still in the works. We're still going to be working on games. Asher Sharma's statement even mentions that they will not be shipping AI slop. Very reassuring. Um,
I I
do you
think they're
think
gonna
that in
go.
5 years' time there's still an Xbox?
I think they're gonna go the way of Sega at this point. So I don't know if
I
that's
think there will be a new console.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
yeah.
know
that's
what that
because they
looks
spent all the
like.
money on R&Ding it
No,
already.
but like even that, I don't know. Like, does that become? I don't know. I feel like it becomes something else. Like, there's obviously all the rumors about it being just kind of like like a Steam machine,
A Steam
basically.
machine, yeah.
Um, which I could see at that point. Are, does Xbox exist outside of being like, is Xbox just Alienware at that point?
Yeah, I mean, I could see that, just Xbox. Because, the thing that Xbox has always actually sold a lot of is peripherals. They sell a shitload of controllers, way more
Yeah.
than any of the other companies. And that's because, the PC market that does buy controllers usually buy Xbox or X input controllers, and they have the patent on X input controllers. Um,
Yeah.
so, that stuff does very well for them. Um, so yeah, that's where we're at with Microsoft stuff. I'm sure there will be more of this developing. I'm sure we're gonna hear a lot more over the next few days, and by the time this actually goes up, it will be massively dated. But yeah, I don't feel great about Xbox. I don't think anyone does. I
I
don't
mean, what I
think
did see was the co-founder effectively being like, "Yeah, Asa Sharma is here to
we
put
talked about that
Xbox on
while
the
you were
bed
gone. Yeah,
and give it the lethal injection." Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
Seamus Blackley being out there being like, yeah, this is kind of the end. So yeah, speaking of things that are the end of, Sony closed Bluepoint Games. Bluepoint, most known for their remakes of Shadow of the Colossus and Demon Souls and the Metal Gear collection, correct, Scott?
Yep.
And several other high profile remakes. They had co developed a lot of God of War Ragnarok with Sony Santa Monica. Apparently it had been reported and was more or less an open secret that they had been working on a live service God of War game before that got killed by Sony about during the summer of last year, I think it was. And since then they've been pitching other possible titles that they could work on. The rumor going around is that there were two remakes, two original IP or two non-remakes. And apparently none of those were getting picked up, and now Sony has decided to shut them down. Um, by the sounds of it, people were getting quite frustrated internally and kind of saw the writing on the wall when all these projects or all these pitches were getting turned down, to the point that the team had been shrinking from 70 to about 50 or 60. And yeah, I suppose my question for you is how the fuck does Sony not find something for Bluepoint to work on?
I mean, this is an Xbox level move. It's almost funny that Xbox was like, "Oh man, Sony shit the bed. Let's show them, you know, let's do something also fucking stupid." I don't know. Like, how do you buy the company that's like
Worth noting,
known
yes,
for
they
remakes?
bought them
Yeah,
in 2021. Demon
yeah,
Souls was shipped in 2020.
yeah.
So under PlayStation, Bluepoint technically never produced a wholly original title. They
Well,
acted
how
as a
much people
support studio
want
on Ragnarok.
remakes now? Like, that should have been the easiest fucking slam dunk in the planet. Like, obviously, people have their problems with Demon Souls and Shadow of the Colossus and stuff like that. But people literally beg for remakes of everything. Literally every game
And at
that has
that
ever
last State of
existed.
Play, they announced a big, expensive remake of 3
Yeah.
God of War games all in one package.
Also, Sony's got like a fucking shit ton of franchises they do dick all with that could have easily been, you know, here's a like they did a medieval remake for fuck's sake. Like, who cares
And
about
also
medieval
worth
shit?
noting that PlayStation grew by 14% last year, or last quarter.
It's the legacy of Jim Ryan.
But
It's
what has PlayStation done this generation?
Demon
You know, like
Souls,
other
Last of
than
Us remake, Horizon remake, Horizon 2,
other than Insomniac
Returnal.
and soon to be Housemarque,
Hmm.
we're on a like one game per generation
From their
thing.
studios, yeah.
And even then, Insomniac, like Miles Morales was half a game, and Spider-Man 2 was kind of bad, you know. But like Naughty Dog's not shipped anything. Santa Monica's shipped one game that was also a PS4 game.
Sucker Punch
Guerrilla's
kind of
shipped.
straddled the line. Like, Ghost of
Oh.
Tsushima was very late era PS4 and almost
Yeah.
immediately got a PS5 version.
I guess Kojima Productions. No, they only did one as well. So yeah, I mean, we're talking how many years in? Almost 6 years in, and Insomniac and
5.5.
Housemarque are the only studios to have actually shipped more than one game. And Guerrilla, because they're about to ship.
And they've also,
Horizon Hunters Gathering.
this
which,
isn't the first time that PlayStation has shut down a studio that technically hasn't shipped a game under them. Neon Koi was shut down last year, and so was Deviation Games. So both of those were studios that they acquired when money was cheap and interest rates were near zero during the pandemic. And then quickly realized, like, actually, we don't like what you're making. Go away.
And also, they effectively shut whatever that Concord studio was.
Firewalk.
Yeah, like
Firespite.
after
Firespite?
No, Firesprite still exists. It was Firewalk.
Firewalk.
Firesprite is working on. They did that VR game, didn't they?
Right, you're right. Yes.
They helped with Horizon Call of the Mountain.
Yeah. Which, again, I think. See if this Horizon game shits the bed. It's not going to be fucking Guerrilla getting shot or anything like that. It's going to be a Ben Studio or something like that. You know, because Horizon for some reason. But like even the games they have put out this generation, other than Astrobot and Returnal, it's all very much just been the Sony mold.
I'm going to be honest. It is like I'd like spend like with consoles about half my time on Switch 2, half my time on PS5. The PS5 is mostly a third-party machine for me, particularly for RPGs. I just don't play many of the first-party games. Just not that interested normally.
Yeah, and it's yeah, Scott, you go.
I was just gonna say, I can think of my like top 10 or 15 PS5 games. I don't think there's a single first-party game on there. You know, like Astrobot probably makes 15 actually, but maybe not 10.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the state of things. Weird fucking couple of weeks in games news. I know it's also weird because like Circana were out there this morning being like spending was up like 4% in January, which is good, but also is a bit late. Arrived a bit late to the party. That information would have been good to know earlier. And also that is just kind of in line with inflation. So in real terms, the gaming industry hasn't actually grown a whole lot.
Oh wait, I do have to issue a correction. San Diego studio released more than 4 games because they are doing yearly MLB games.
Yeah, MLB. Yeah,
so,
that's a fair point. Those games make a lot of money.
Yeah, but they're third party as well. Like they go to everything, which is the kind of Xbox playbook.
So yeah, we're gonna call the news there. We will be back after a short break. So please stay tuned. And we're back, and now to talk about more cheery news. Some video games.
Ridge Racer.
Earlier today I saw a story from Time Extension of someone who made instructions for Ridge Racer Lego sets, and I've never wanted something so badly in my life.
Oh,
Those are
that'd be
just, those
so
are just
good.
cars, Lex.
Ridge Racer
plenty
Type
of-
4 cars.
There are plenty of cars on Lego, Lex.
Yeah, but the cool fucking yellow one from Ridge Racer Type 4. It's the best one. Anyway,
Best one.
who wants to go first? I see, Henry, you have been playing some Next Fest demos. Let's talk a little bit about some of those, because Next Fest is on at the moment.
Yeah, so I've played a handful, but the three that I've enjoyed most so far, Denture Attack, which is just really sick, to be quite frank.
I played a bunch of that at TGS.
Oh, honestly, it's so good.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for that full release at this point.
For people who don't know, what is Denture Attack?
You're basically you control a train and you're styling.
Yeah.
You are going through these different courses, performing tricks, building up scores.
It's
It
somewhere
just
between a
feels
Tony
satisfying.
Hawk and a Thumper.
Yeah. So I think, with the cornering, I could see that with
Yeah.
Thumper. Yeah.
And yeah, it's really cool. It's Scott, you should check this out, because I think as someone who likes Tony Hawk, you would enjoy the trick system in it.
I've got the demo downloaded. I only found out it had a demo literally before we went live. So
Because I told you.
yeah, so I will be trying. It's been on my radar since it was in whatever the fuck it was on. It was probably like a direct or something like that.
Yeah. So what are the other demos you have checked out, Henry?
So another one I've played is called Orbital Overdrive. It is a quite classic sort of shoot 'em up, but really enjoying that. I've always had a soft spot for those sort of games. Has optional VR support, which is surprising for a game like that. But hey, I mean, I'm all for it. And the one that's really been taking up all my time
This
so
looks
far
cool.
is
Sorry, this does look
Oh, yeah.
cool. The Orbital Overdrive, it reminds me a little bit of Sectori, which I've been playing a lot of
Yeah.
Sectori recently. And fuck, dude, Sectori rules.
Oh, it's so good. They did a game previously called Stratagun, which was also pretty solid, so worth looking at that too. But yeah, the one that I've been playing most is Recoin. Just making a coin pusher like machines like you find in pretty much any arcade into a roguelike. It shouldn't work as well as it does, but I'm hooked.
Yes, I have heard bits about this. It is a Balatro-like, correct?
Yes,
yes and no.
to an
I
extent.
wouldn't-
Yeah, to an
was
extent.
To Balatro.
Okay.
Because there was a demo for this last year at some point as well, which I played. I haven't played the new one. But yes,
I remember
very cool.
sending it to Jan and getting a message back of like, "Oh no, what have you done? What have you sent on to me?"
And the fact they're both published by PlayStack, Balatro and this.
That's
so
why I
they
had
they
the
have type.
association. Yes, that's okay.
Yeah.
That checks out.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I'm like browsing the Steam Next Fest page now to see if there's any other ones. I want to check out that 1348 Ex Voto. That looks cool.
Sure. Yeah.
And
Downloaded Dench Attack, Micro Titans Wrestling, which seems to be a wrestling action figure deck builder thing. It seems quite cool.
Okay.
And whatever that Disco Elysium thing is, which we literally remembered the name of it before we went live.
Zero Parades.
Forgot.
Zero Parade,
Yes.
the Dead Spies.
Yeah.
That looks neat. I do not know all the goings on. Like I realized this morning. I do not know any of that stuff going on. So
dude, it's a mess. It's enough of a mess that knowing some of it has made me been like, I'm not gonna download that demo. I'm fine.
I saw the trailer and thought it looked neat, and I'm keeping it at that for now.
That's probably that's the extent that you should look into it for now. And once you have played that demo, be like, okay, maybe I'll check this out, look into this some more, and
I mean, the whole
have
thing
my
is
own
like
findings.
not out of like I don't mean it out of a place of like I don't care what's happening there. It's more of like I never watched the videos because I'd never played Disco Elysium.
Yeah.
So I don't actually know
Sure.
what's going on. But that I liked the look and the concept of
Let me
that
tell
game,
you, the
though.
fan base, very normal. Very, very normal, and can definitely take things
Well,
in a
at
very
least
normal way.
they'll like one of the 10 sequels or whatever we're getting. So
Yeah, if you don't like that one, don't worry. There's like 5 others. And so, moving on, Scott, you've been playing a shitload of one game in particular. And this is a game I've wanted to hear a little bit about for a while. Tell us about Mewgenics.
it's the best game of the year, I think. I feel
So, for
not
people who
not
don't
often.
know, I know
Yeah.
it's like super popular at the moment. What is Mewgenics?
It's a roguelike from Ed McMillan, who did Super Meat Boy and The Binding of Isaac, and then Tyler Gliel, I think is how you say that,
Mm.
who also did The End Is Nigh and some of these kind of like they're both from like the Newgrounds scene. And it's like and not quite Into the Breach, but it's like a turn-based tactical RPG type thing where you breed cats and take them out on adventures, and it's all very D&D. It's all very it's the same kind of sense of humor as The Binding of Isaac. It's very like dark stuff in there, gross stuff in there, but it's just like that gameplay loop is so fucking good. Like the tactics themselves. Like I'm at 112 hours right now, and about 100 of those were before the game launched. I haven't been able to play quite as much as I've wanted since then because
Weird, what changed after the game launched?
I've been working a lot. I've been playing the other games that we'll be talking about on my one. Yeah, I mean, there are some regrettable things about it.
It's
I still
weird.
think it's weird, but I also think that I'm in a situation of I played about 50, 60 hours of it before I hit credits. So I had no fucking clue. I knew there were voices in there. I knew Gene Ween's in there from my favorite band of all time. I know David Harbour is on there as well. So there's like a lot of names. I think a lot of them were done. This is just kind of like context clues I'm getting from like seeing dev chat because we're in like a press Discord. A lot of them were done years and years ago when maybe some of those names were a bit more appropriate.
So
I think
yeah, that's the thing that's the controversy around this game is that it
yeah,
has some pretty vocal Zionists in it.
yeah. I
And
mean,
that's kind of weird when it also has some pretty vocal anti-Zionists in it. And Edmund
yeah. I
McMillan
mean,
has gotten out there, and his response haven't exactly. I listened to that podcast that he did with Chris Plant, which I thought was actually quite interesting. Um, and yes, he does give off the vibe of a forum shit poster who just wants to stir shit, and doesn't really thinks it's more important to be politically ironic than it is to be politically sincere. And
I
thus it makes sense
I
that these people
don't
are.
get the feeling that he is trying to say anything with
That's the thing.
some of these
That's the
names.
thing. Is he is irony pilled enough that he is like, I am saying nothing, but also by saying that you are saying something. And I don't think he quite gets that.
Yeah, I mean, so again, like I played about that much time before I knew who was in it, and there are some names in there that I don't want to get into because obviously it's a lot. But there's a specific name in there that after events, probably about 5 years ago now, really should have been removed from the game,
Yeah.
even if those events did not result in jail. But yeah, outside of that, like that's kind of the big thing that holds it back, I think, especially for a lot of people. I mean, obviously the comedy is quite dark. I don't think it's really it's edgy, but it's not like punching down on people, like there's that kind of fine line where like stuff is I'm trying to think of like good examples, but nothing's coming to my head now. Like Always Sunny in Philadelphia is quite edgy, right? but you never get the sense that the people behind it have a kind of
A
or
malice to them.
hateful, yeah, a malice to them. That's kind of the same vibe I get from like the Binding of Isaac in this, and it's the same. Like you obviously there's like lots of stories about Macmillan's upbringing and stuff like that. And it's quite, it's all quite heavy. But it like I don't know, it manifests in a game that is weirdly been, I wouldn't say overshadowed by the stuff surrounding it because it is a huge game. Like it's done really well. Um, but I guess I'm surprised that it became such a thing.
It's one of those things where I'm like, it's so easy to not engage with a game now, to find a reason not to engage with a game now, because there's
Yeah.
so many good games coming out. Like, there's so many good games all the time. And even just having one of those, I'm like, man, I wish this didn't happen because I didn't want an excuse to pass up this game. And now it's very easy for me to be like, well, if I play this, I'm gonna have like weird, complicated feelings about that, and I just don't want to deal with that right now. Like, I
Yeah,
don't.
I mean, I can't begrudge someone for skipping out on it after all that. But yeah, it's, I don't know. I again, I still think it's probably the best game that will come out this year because it's like I don't often get confident. The only time I can get been this confident about a game will probably end up as my favorite game was when I played Devil May Cry. Whenever that came out, that was like February or March, the last Devil May Cry. And I think even like like the soundtrack as well is phenomenal. Like there's loads of, it does something that like the first time it kind of hits is one of those things where I'm like, hell fucking yeah, like the whole map you play and there's like background music is nice. And as soon as you hit a boss, vocals come in and it's like vocal tracks for every zone, every boss fight, and they're like so varied and unique. Like it's one of the best soundtracks the last few years, I think. There's like a song in there that's entirely in Japanese and it's like a kaiju kind of like kaiju movie music, but the lyrics are about like brushing your teeth. There's a song that's lore dumping for Binding of Isaac, which again, that's another game where that's probably my most played game of all time. I think I put about 200 odd hours on Steam, probably about another 200 on PlayStation. Oh, almost 300 on Steam. Great. Um, yeah, so I can see Mewgenics being the one that I'm going to come back to over and over again throughout the year. I'm still not finished it. Um, and yeah, I mean, like, I don't want to spoil things. There's a boss fight in there that's like very retro in ways, very Persona 2 Bionic Commando in ways.
Okay.
That has a somewhat fantastic but quite dark gag part of it. I'll explain that to you when I'm off camera because I don't want to spoil it because it's a good fight and it's a good kind of like twist on the game. But yeah, I mean it's just so like that look itself and the character, like it's so well designed. Like it's a game where I thought after however many years it's been, because I was still in high school when this got announced, and I've been waiting for like a long, long time for it. That it's one of those things you never expect it to be able to actually land. But man, so yeah,
Yeah, that's neat. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I don't know, maybe I'll get around to it as the year winds on, but like, man, there's so much.
it's obviously
And it's
again,
such a time commitment, you know?
yeah. I would never, I wouldn't blame anyone for not wanting to play it because of that. But I guess it's stuff that doesn't amount to much in game, at the very least. So coming to it as someone who did not know about it going in and was already hooked, it's a thing where I'm like, I can just kind of, because the only cameo I recognized was um the number 15 Burger King foot lettuce guy, because his meow was like meow. That's the only time out of the like 100 odd cameos that I actually figured out someone was in there. So yeah, I mean, again, I understand why people do not want to play it, but I also think it is a very extremely well designed game.
Mm.
And I hope it gets its props.
One video game that won't be getting any props from me is Yakuza Kiwami 3, a game that I reviewed for Gamer Guides, and I gave a 20 out of 100 to. This is a game I super did not like, and I'm super bummed about it. I would mainly just encourage people to go read the review about it, because I think I'm pretty comprehensive in my misgivings around that game, from the performance technically to the performances acting wise, to the recasting, to the combat not being as good as previous entries, to the side content being rather vapid compared to previous Like a Dragon games, and some truly brutally bizarre changes to the narrative, which, Henry, I think I got you to look into, and even you were like,
Yeah.
yo, what? Wait, what?
Yeah. No, everything I've heard about Kiwami 3 has just encouraged me to avoid it harder, because
Yeah.
I don't even want to play that game on, like, after getting on deep discount at this point.
As someone who had for a long time been like, I don't really like Yakuza 3, suddenly I'm like, actually, Yakuza 3 is pretty okay. It does a lot of things right.
It is, to me, I still rank it as the original Yakuza 3 as my worst mainline game.
Mm.
I'm saying this having not played the original 1 and 2, admittedly. But yeah, I thought it was all over the place at the time. But
I
see that get worse?
I kind of mentally checked out of Kiwami 3 the second I saw Rikia.
Yeah,
because
that's the other thing, is even if one of the bits of recasting wasn't extremely problematic, which I write about in my review, and you can see plenty of writing about on the internet if you go looking for it, the other bit of recasting is just kind of bad. Like, Rikia is meant to be a dork and a dweeb and a poser in a lot of ways, and they recast him with a guy who is like one of the most beautiful actors in Japan right now, and was the star of Tokyo Vice, the Michael Mann TV show, and it's just baffling because, like, he doesn't fit the character at all. His voice performance is okay, but, like, it doesn't fit what that character is meant to be at all. And yeah, there's basically no element of that game I like unreservedly, and the elements that I don't like, I really don't like. And it's a huge disappointment. It's kind of left me wondering where the Yakuza series goes from here, if anywhere. I know they're out there saying, like, oh yeah, the Kiwami series is done and we're considering doing a different thing going forward for, like, a 4 remake. With the story that they're writing and the changes that they're making, I don't want any of that. That sounds awful.
Don't you want the Daidoji cinematic universe?
Fucking no, I don't. So yeah, but much better games. I've also been playing a few of those. Namely, Romeo is a Dead Man. Scott, I'm surprised you haven't played this yet.
Dog, I've been so fucking busy.
Yeah.
I've had it the whole time. I've had it installed. But I've just not had the time to play a game not for work in a bit. And now that I have the time, I want to get in on Resident Evil before, it comes out and everyone inevitably just talks about everything because no one can just play something now.
Henry, have you played many Suda games?
Soon.
Not many, no.
Okay.
Wait, was it Suda who did No More Heroes?
Yeah, he did No More Heroes.
Yeah. I played the first one of that, but that's pretty much the extent of me playing Suda games.
This is the Suda game that has hit me in the right way. You know? I think a lot of people are like, they'll look at a Suda game and they'll be like, it's neat that he's doing this, it's not for me. This is the one that's for me. I really dig all of this. The vibe, the art, the amount of art, the fact that it's pretty inscrutable and doesn't always fit together correctly. It feels so distinctly human in a way. I said it in my review, like, it just kind of feels like everyone at the studio was allowed make something that they were very talented at making, and then they'd see how they fit that all together into one game. And sometimes that creates something that's lumpy, but like I'm at a point in my life where I am perfectly okay with lumpy art if it's interesting. Like I don't need everything to be cohesive. And it's just cool as fuck. Everything about that game is so fucking cool. So yeah, check that game out if you haven't. I really have been loving that game.
I mean, I like. I mean, I haven't played all of his games, but I like all the Suda games. I've played a lot. I even liked fucking. What was it called?
Killer's Dead?
I liked Killer's Dead. I was talking about Travis
Strikes Again.
Again. Yes, I liked Travis Strikes Again. I feel like I was more positive on No More Heroes 3 than a lot of people were. He's quite Kojima in that way, where like No More Heroes 3 has like an extended sequence where you just chat with fucking Takeshi Miike or chat about Takeshi Miike. Like I have a lot of respect for anyone who just goes like, yeah, this is my shit. I'm gonna fucking put that in there.
Yeah.
All right. I've just
Um,
realised I have actually played some of his other games, but not the big ones.
With some of the
Shadows of the
DS ones.
Damned,
I
It's a
played
few of them.
Liberation Maiden. And
Okay.
I played, is it Sign Mora? Is that how you say that?
Yes, Shine More, yeah.
Shine Mora. Yeah.
Did you play what's it called? Fuck, why can't I see it on here? Diabolical Pitch for the Xbox Connect.
Everyone has.
I did.
I have.
You know
Yeah,
what,
I mean,
let's say yes.
Lollipop Chainsaw, good game at the time. Kind of weird what's happening to it now.
I mean,
Shadows
it's
of the
still a
Damned.
good game. It's just been
Also,
weirdly
well,
co-opted.
that remake is not good.
Oh yeah, it's the remake isn't good, but the original totally fine.
Shadows of the Damned, I really like. I don't think a lot of people do. I don't know if I'm just making that up, but that was another game where I'm like, hell yeah. I still haven't played Killer 7 though. That seems like the one, but
Yeah,
I've also
that
not played.
surprises me for you.
I've also not played the Fire Pro Wrestling game where I think it's like the first game he made, and then the ending of it is just like your character like blasting his shit because he lost a match or something. I can't remember. But yeah, it's a weird wrestling game story from old Suda there. So yeah, I'll get to it hopefully by the next time. But
Yeah, I want to have a more in-depth conversation about it once you've actually played some. But for now, I'll just say it's really good and you should check it out. Henry, a game that I've actually been playing little bits and pieces of when I was traveling, but didn't put down on my list, is one that you have here, Super Mario Galaxy. How'd you go back to those games?
What had me go back? Did you
Yeah,
say?
yeah.
Honestly,
movie?
the movie, it definitely helps. I realized with Galaxy we started it about when the 3D All Stars came out. We just dropped off it. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go back to that. It's been a long time. Galaxy 2, I hadn't played since the original Wii release. So for me, that was like basically I'd forgotten pretty much everything. Yeah. So it felt like going back to a new game. I had fun. I do think it's. I'm not even sure it's recency bias at this point, given that it's been 8, 9 years. But I just think it's getting difficult to go back to some of them because Odyssey just does it so damn well.
So I talk about this a lot, and I feel like I get shit about this from people. I think the Mario Galaxy games are very good. In no way do I think they are better than 64 or Odyssey. Half and half on Sunshine.
They are so much better than Sunshine. It's not even fucking funny, dude.
Right, but when I think about platformers, what makes a good platformer to me is a platformer that lets you express yourself, just like the foundation was built on with Super Mario 64, where like there's so much you can do. Like Astrobot is kind of in the same Mario Galaxy side of things, where it's like there's not much sauce in there. It's just good platforming. Whereas like the amount of dumb shit you can do in an Odyssey or a Donkey Kong Bonanza, where the game gives you tools to take things your kind of own way, I find to be a far more interesting take on a 3D platformer than
and obviously I get why they had to tone things down for Mario Galaxy, because when you're working with the zero gravity shot, obviously you can't have Mario going fucking woo 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 all over the place. But I think those games are very special. I think those games are very good, but I find it on replays. I just kind of sit and wish, like, I wish I could like move around a bit more. Which is how, because I replayed
I get
Galaxy
that.
One last year. Last year, I think so. Like just before Bonanza came out, I replayed Galaxy One.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Henry,
at the
how
same time,
how
I
have you
also-
been finding them?
I mean, yeah, well, like I say, I still really enjoy them. I think, yeah, I think Scott makes a good point there. But yeah, generally speaking, they still hold up.
I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. They're still like the number 5 and 6 best platformers of all time. Like they're still fucking better than a Banjo Kazooie. You know, there's no competition there. But yeah, I guess it's one where I don't get what everyone sees in it more than like Odyssey. Like when Astrobot came out and you had people saying this is the best platformer since Mario Galaxy, I was like,
Yeah, I'll be honest, I liked Astrobot a lot, but I didn't think it was Game of the Year that year. I didn't think it was as good.
what came out that
I don't think it
year?
was on that level.
We need to stop doing this podcast because it makes me sad.
Oh, it was that was the Metaphor year, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I think I was rooting for
Yeah.
Dragon's Dogma was my game of the year that year. I think I was rooting for Metaphor. I mean, I'm not going to get into it.
Yeah, we don't
Astrobot
need
has
to.
some really
That's
fun
not
level
big
gimmicks. I
stars.
wish they used the mouse one more. That was very cool.
it's
and
a
I think they
very
only
cool
used it once.
mechanic.
Sure.
But yeah, have you been playing Galaxy 2 at all?
Yeah, no, I hit credits on both of them.
All right.
So I did that last week. Yeah.
Did you
So
get
I then
Luigi?
did that. I tried starting Final Fantasy Tactics afterwards, but I was like, I'm not in the right mindset for that.
That game requires thinking,
game
which
is
can be tough
extremely good.
sometimes. It's great, I love it, but it requires
Yeah.
thinking.
No, I played it before, like
Yeah.
we said on the Game of the Year podcast, but I just just not right at that second.
Speaking of things that people might not be in the mood for, Scott, tell me about WWE 2K26.
Hey, you know how sports games are kind of the same thing every year?
Yeah,
Yeah, so 2K has been making these games better just gradually every year since they came back. Again, 2K26, it's not out yet, but I'm just talking from a preview build now, in case I get in trouble, because this will probably go out by the time the game is out. I do not have code. I did a preview. So yeah, it's like the little things where I'm like, I'm quite excited about this, but I don't think anyone else will care. Like at the start of matches now, there's like a kind of psychology system where like you can kind of choose what you want to do. Like you can initiate like stare downs or like handshakes and shit like that. And it's that type of stuff that I absolutely love, and I wish they did more of. Where I think a lot of people want a fighting game, whereas I'm kind of like, when it comes to wrestling, it's about psychology and shit like that. So like in the old games on the PS2, when you like held a submission, you could keep holding it and get in trouble, or you could argue with the ref when you had like a 2 count or whatever, right? Those will fuck you over if you do them, but it's like part of the kind of fantasy of it, I guess. And it's those kind of little details that I'm like, they're getting it, they're so close. Like the physics are better this year, but then I think for a lot of people they're going to pick up the game and realize it's the same game as last year. But obviously, with the new content, I mean this year's showcase mode is about CM Punk, which is
great.
my
Everyone loves him right now, from what I gather.
Sort of. I mean, he's still beloved. On the grand scheme of wrestlers and wrestling adjacent people, I think CM Punk is generally a decent guy, is how I will put that.
To be fair, that is kind of like
Yeah,
being
I
the
know.
worst dickhead in a fraternity, you know?
Yeah. And like that era where he was kind of on top was probably the era where I was most like obsessive with wrestling. Like I'd watch every show. So I'm quite excited about that. And then
But then all the stuff that gets advertised is like, oh, here's new match types, like the dumpster match, which is the exact same as the casket match, which is the exact same as the ambulance match, you know. So, and also these were modes that were in games like 10 years ago. So it's a part of like selling old shit to new stuff, and some of them are different than they were. But the only thing I'm kind of like, oh my god, is there's a battle pass this year
Right.
replacing the DLC. So where you used to get DLC where you would pay whatever amount for the pack, and you would get all the characters right away. I think it was like 5 characters. Um, they're gonna have season passes, 6, I believe they said,
6 season
and
passes.
across the year, yeah. But they're not like 20. I think they're only like a tenner. So it's like a battle pass basically, right? And each one is going to be like their old DLC pack. So the first one's like AAA, like Lucha Libre, because they bought that company last year. And it's like, if you get to level 20, you can unlock Mr. Iguana. I played the game for about 3.5 hours. I think the level on the battle pass went up once. So I'm a bit concerned that for the people who buy all the DLC packs,
Ah.
it's gonna
The
be a
bar
fucking
is in
while
hell.
But on the plus side, none of them run out, and I'm hoping that when the new ones do come out, the XP stacks, because if you have to go through like everyone individually, that's gonna fucking stink. But also that's how all the old wrestlers are locked away this year. So in previous games, you have like an in-game shop where you would spend the in-game currency to get like the old wrestlers, the old title belts, all that's on the free battle pass this time, which means there's no longer with the like deluxe sessions you just get a DLC that unlocks everything. That's not there anymore. So that's going to be another fucking like slog. So it's the same as last year. Where like this is the best it's been, but also they added a mode that is so microtransaction heavy that Jesus Christ, this shit is getting greedy. So yeah, I'm a bit worried. I'm just gonna have the exact same review this year where I'm like, these games continue to be quite good. They really want me to spend money on them. And considering there's already 4 editions, with the most expensive being like £130, I'm like, feels a bit
Jeez.
sports game. Feels a bit Take Two.
Weird. That doesn't sound
Yeah.
like Take Two or any of their stuff. Scott, before we move on to the main big game that we're going to talk about, give us a quick rundown of High on Life 2. You seem to like this game a lot.
High on Life 2 is surprisingly good. I didn't like the first one. I find the Rick and Morty voice really fucking annoying. Obviously, you know, he had to leave for other reasons than being annoying, but regardless, it has set a marked improvement on the game in general. I think the comedy in that game is quite. Even in the first game, sometimes where I'm like, the comedy in this is quite good, it's just not done well. Whereas in this one, again, there's always going to be like absolute fucking stinkers of jokes, that there are some that really suck. But for the most part, I'm just like, you know, like I actually laughed a lot. I found the shooting to be not great, but it's better. Like I think a lot of the guns lack impact in that game. The shotgun is the worst shotgun I've ever used in a game. But then the skateboarding is something where I'm like, holy shit, like they've done it. Like this is an FPS revelation type
The
thing.
skateboarding thing I've heard really good things about.
Yeah, like it feels like such a why the fuck has no one ever done this before? Like surprisingly, skateboarding in the FPS feels fantastic. So yeah, it's like it's a weird one because I didn't like the first at all. I didn't really get on with it, but High on Life 2 got me. There's a really good extended sequence at the end when you go to meet the final boss.
I've heard that like it's a technical showcase in places, which is surprising. I also
it's a
know
technical shit show in places.
Yes, I've also heard that like it does some very cool things technology-wise with like jumping between spaces, and also the image quality is dire.
I played it on the PS5 Pro and it looked
Yes.
blurry. They have 2 upscaling modes, PSSR and something else, TSR I think. Both looked the exact same. One of the boss fights I want to say was like maybe not single digits, but it was getting there in the frame rate.
Yeah. I know
like,
a lot
just
of people are not
weirdly
happy with the
rough.
console performance of that. game.
I mean, the final boss I had to restart like 4 or 5 times because the first time I did it, all my guns locked, and it's kind of like a gauntlet, like you're using all your abilities as you go through. And then like 2 or 3 more times, I just fell through the floor. Like the floor would just disappear. But yeah, I mean, there's like quite interesting gameplay sections. Like, I'll not spoil the final boss one because it is quite cool. But I mean, when you go to get the final boss, there is probably about like 40 minutes of shit you're doing that's not fighting, is what I will say, and it is quite interesting. One of the boss fights like literally goes into the UI of the game, and you have to go in like the pause menu. It's almost like a punch out kind of thing. Like they do interesting things with the boss fights and the characters where I'm like, there is sauce here. Squanch has clearly got something, but just like not entirely there yet. Like this team could make something really good. And also, yeah, there's just loads of like the Glover commercials are in there. Like you can watch it, like loads of commercials from like the 80s and 90s, like LGN stuff. But then Glover's in there. There's loads of like NES ROMs or like Mega Drive ROMs of like Bible Adventures and stuff. Just like small weird things where I'm like, this is almost Yakuza-esque in the weird shit you can do. And yeah, you've got a crane machine in your base that has a picture of Fraser on it, which is
Nice.
I interviewed the CEO of the company before I played it, and I told him whatever the shittiest joke in the game is, I'm gonna laugh the most at. And the Fraser joke is so fucking dumb, but I loved it. And interestingly, speaking before about Xbox, he told me that despite Xbox Game Pass, PlayStation still is the lead platform for that game. So
Interesting.
take that for what you will. But yeah. Speaking of first-person shooters,
kind of. Resident Evil Requiem. We've both been playing it, me and you, Scott. How far are you into this game?
I want to say about 7 hours. I have reached Raccoon City, which was shown in the trailer, so I can say, which I want to say.
We're going to post this after the embargo so we can talk about the embargoed stuff, because the embargo is really dumb.
I didn't read the embargo spoilers, so I don't know what's in there.
Let me tell you, they embargoed everything that people won't like about this game.
Interesting. I mean, I remember the embargo for Resident Evil 4 was quite specific like that as well. I've played I've basically played like the opening chapter. Like you start in a hospital, so obviously Resident
is the
Evil
best
games
part of the game.
Yeah, Resident Evil games always jump between like areas. So I've played the hospital area at the start of the game, and I quite like it. I think my major thing so far, which I suspect will change soon, is that like the pacing is super weird with how you play as Grace and Leon, because it's not like in Village where you play as Ethan, but then you've got a long section as Chris at the end. It's like literally like jumping back and forth between Grace and Leon from the start of the game. But Leon's sections are like 5-10 minutes long, and then
so
with Grace for like an hour.
It kind of, the second half of the game flips that.
Yeah.
The second half of the game is you are mainly playing as Leon and you occasionally play as Grace. And that's kind of one of my major problems with this game, is that Grace's character development stalls out in a really frustrating way. That you might be able to guess would happen if you took away player control and agency from a character for most of the second half of a narrative. It's very frustrating. Like, I'm going to try to dance around spoilers here for you, Scott. But it's very frustrating the way that the second half of that game plays out to me. I think that the first hour of this game is incredible. I think that the first 5 hours of this game are excellent to very good. And I think that the back half of this game, the kind of like the last 5 hours, continually get worse. And this is someone who likes Resident Evil camp. Yes, it does just sounds like every Resident Evil, I understand that.
Specifically the new era of Resident Evil games, because 7 started off like the start of 7 is the best Resident Evil game, and the back half of 7 is maybe the worst. Like it becomes
I
such
don't
a
hate the
slog.
boat. I don't hate the boat as much as other people do. I
I
get
also
why they
just think
do.
like 7, like I've seen some things this week about 7, where I'm like, did I play the same 7? Because like my memory of 7 is Jack Baker being fucking excellent, and then everything else just being kind of there, especially the fucking
Margaret
fart
Baker's really good too.
monsters.
The mother's really good. That section's really good.
The like the what they call like the slime monster things being the only enemies in that game, for example. Village, I of two minds about. As someone who likes camp Resident Evil, I did like Chris's section a lot, but also think that like
Everything they
the
do
dogs are going
narratively is
mental.
terrible.
It's just like I don't really think that those games. I never played the DLC. We'll keep that in mind, but I don't think that those games really factor into the main story all that much, and I don't think they really needed to points. And all the bits to factor into the main story feel somewhat forced in both games. So like, I don't know. In that way, I'm not particularly fussed about either of them in that sense. But I mean, I like the characters in it a lot. I think whatever the fuck his name is, him from Baldur's Gate
Heisenberg.
3, Heisenberg. I think he's fantastic. Obviously, Lady Dimitrescu is fantastic. Um,
The other two are
and
pretty forgettable, and Mother Miranda's like not a good
what's the
villain.
name? Oh, Beneviento. I think Beneviento is the scariest thing in that. That's the only thing in the entire series that has ever scared me. I don't find Resident Evil scary ever. Like even like the big stupid monster in this one at the start, like the pursuer that they showed in the kind of first gameplay. Like, I don't find it scary, whereas the Beneviento stuff was the only time in that series I have ever been scared. Well, Jack Baker as well, I guess. But yeah, I don't. How have you been playing it? Have you been playing the
I
recommended first person, third person way, or?
So I played on PC. I started with the recommended settings. I will say PC version of this game came in a little bit hot, came in after all the console versions, and I can see why. I've been getting a fair few crashes, most of those tied to DLSS. All of those tied to DLSS actually. The game has worked flawlessly when I haven't used DLSS, but has performed much worse. It relies very heavily on DLSS for frame rate in particular, which does cause quite heavy ghosting. The Resident Evil PC ports have always been kind of a sensitive topic. They've never had great DLSS support. They've never had native DLSS support before. This is the first one with DLSS support in it. And Resident Evil 4 in particular was extremely CPU heavy, and it was didn't perform as well as it should in a lot of ways when you looked at it. This game performs a lot better, and it is like stunning in places. I think it gets progressively less good looking as you go into later areas.
I'm playing on the PS5 Pro, and that opening where you're walking through the street of Grace is genuinely like
it's some of the
it's
best
so
looking.
lifelike that it's and like mad, you know. And the character models are great. The hairs, like the RE Engine hair, has always been great. I will say, in terms of Grace, she's fucking going for it. The voice actress,
She really is.
Goes for it.
And I think that's
Christ.
why it becomes kind of a bummer that she becomes secondary in the story, because to me Grace is a much more interesting character, and they could have done a lot more with her. And you know, the narrative of the Resident Evil games, I get that there is already so much fanfare in them that being like, well, this game is just fanfare is kind of like a non-starter of an argument, but the fanfare in this game is pretty egregious in a way that like I'm like, I don't know, this doesn't feel like it's doing anything interesting with what you're presenting me with. You're just reminding me of old things that I also like. And for a moment, I'm like, oh yeah, I like that thing. And I'm like, okay, but why am I here? And a few of the narrative swings that it takes are interesting, but it doesn't stand by them in an interesting way. It doesn't have the balls to go for it in the way that you would want them to. And that's super frustrating. I love the gameplay in this game, but I am super bummed out about how the New Game Plus works. There is no New Game Plus. There is no second run. There is just, hey, you've unlocked extreme difficulty, which is really, really fucking hard. And you can carry over some of your weapons. But it's not like any of the previous games where you like have a bunch of new stuff that you can bring into New Game Plus and it changes how you play.
Just
Which is a
gonna
big bummer.
jump.
Yeah.
Just going to jump in here briefly. I'm not really a Resi person, but it frustrates me to no end when companies make difficulty levels unlockable thing as like a reward for completing that. It's like, what if I want to challenge myself off the bat?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, that's what
yeah.
Devil May Cry does. Like, especially Devil May Cry 5, you get
Sure.
easy and you get normal. So there's not really a good way of playing that game in hard right away.
I will also
either.
say this game, it feels like it should have shipped with a Mercenaries mode, and it's weird that it hasn't, because the gameplay is so good as Leon.
I feel like the last however many have not shipped with a Mercenaries mode.
I mean, Village got one patched in, and 4 shipped with one. So
it was the same with Devil May Cry 5, or Bloody Palace was like a month later.
Yeah, I bet it will arrive later, but this game screams out for a Mercenaries mode, because Scott, you've played as Leon. It is the best combat sandbox that they've had in a very long time. Like, it feels great. And I think that I love the first hour of this game. I love the beginning of this game. I grew progressively colder on it as it went on, and I'm very curious to see how it reviews, because the majority of the stuff that will leave people cold in this game has been embargoed under story spoilers. And it's going to be...
I guess, but at the same time, what is Resident Evil? Like, Resident Evil is like a roller coaster for a lot of people, you know. I don't know that many people come to Resident Evil for good coherent storytelling the same way you would come to like Silent Hill for, you know. Like even back when Resident Evil was survival horror, it was still fucking stupid. Like, it was still a stupid action game at points. Like, every Resident Evil game does go through that point where by the end of the game it is an action game, which I do enjoy at times. Like, I enjoyed Resident Evil 3 remake, which everyone else seems to kind of not love, and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know that story stuff will affect that many reviews for the game, I guess is what I'm saying.
It never does. Like, Village reviewed very well, and that game has a dreadful story. So, you know, but as someone who really likes the melodrama of the franchise, I was left a bit cold as things went on. And yeah, I you know, that game is cool. I recommend playing it, maybe not at like full price if you are sensitive to that thing, but it looks really nice on PC. It certainly runs better on PC than previous games have. And yeah, it's fun.
I mean, I've not finished it, but I don't think Capcom has done a bad game in about 10 years now. You know, like, it has like a really impressive. Like, I don't think there's a comeback like it in the industry. You know, like Konami in 10 years' time, I hope I'm talking about them like this, because that new Castlevania looks fucking cool. But
that new Castlevania looks fucking awesome. We didn't talk much about the state of play, but those Konami games, even like Darwin's Paradox, I was like, yeah, this is fun. This is neat.
I didn't like the look of it, mainly because they fucking set it up as if it was going to be like a new Metal Gear game. And I was like,
now, Scott, did you see the Blue Sky post I put up of Dan Reichert's face when that was on screen?
No.
It's just jaw agape.
That being said, fuck, Peace Walker is going to be on Switch 2, because finally there is a good portable version of Peace Walker.
Hey,
fuck
now.
Playing that on the PSP, fuck playing that on the Vita. Finally.
Let's not say things we can't take back.
I mean, on PSP you have to do the Monster Hunter Claw, and on the Vita I'm pretty sure you cannot remap the controls properly, you know. So having that on the Switch 2, that's going to be fucking joyful. And maybe people, like, the whole timeline on when that got announced was like Metal Gear Solid 4. I'm sitting here like, fucking yes, Peace Walker's back. Oh, that's such a good game, and I hope people finally in a post Monster Hunter world, or sorry, a post Monster Hunter breaking the US world, I hope people recognize that Peace Walker is a fucking banger, because that game gets overlooked way too much. But yeah,
Yeah,
video
and that's kind of
games.
video games.
I can't wait for Pragmata. Will that be out with the next podcast? When does
I
that come
hope
out?
so. Pragmata is March, I think, right? It will be out.
Maybe we'll...
And so
Where the
will
fuck is
Crimson
Onimusha?
Desert. Onimusha's end of this year, from everything I hear. It's late 2026.
I am.
Pragmata is April 24th.
April.
Oh.
Okay, then it will be out the month after.
What else
next.
comes out April 24th? Is that what is it called? Returnal to. Is that not the same day?
Seros? No,
Oh,
Seros
I think
is
end of the month.
yeah. Anyway, we're gonna call it there. Thank you all so much for joining us. What a lovely time.
Crimson Desert. That was what I was wanting to say. Sorry. That
know.
may be out the next time we do this.
Crimson
That
Desert
game-
will be out, I know, because I'm reviewing it.
Okay, I'm either going to be really annoying about that game, and that's going to be my game of the year, or I'm going to fucking hate it. Stay tuned. Probably want to play it. By
I think I know which one it's going to be. We will talk to you all next time. Thank you all so much for joining us again. Henry, thank you for joining us.
Anytime.
Scott, thank you so much. And for myself, talk to you soon and goodbye.